Hey guys, today we're going to be taking a look at a bunch of different Soma games from the ladder, so sit back, grab yourself a drink, get ready for the show. We've got our first game here with Soma in the top left versus Shiny. If you don't know why there's been so many Soma games lately, it's because he's one of the only Zerg players at the highest level playing regularly on the ladder right now. So most of the other Zergs are just kind of practicing in private games or, you know, playing lots of Pro League, that type of thing. Soma, on the other hand, is still a part of the military, and thus he's not allowed to make money playing or basically doing anything. He's not allowed to make any money, so he can't, you know, participate in show matches or anything like that. He can only play Starcraft for fun. So what he does is goes to work on the weekdays, probably an office job for the military, and then on the weekends or after work hits the ladder and just plays a bunch of games. And that's why we've been watching him so much recently. Now, I have put together quite a few recent series with him versus Light, and I had some game with him versus Speed as well. But this is going to be a compilation of a bunch of other games that I have from the ladder that are not at the absolute pinnacle. So Shiny, he's a player who has consistently been in the top 10 on the ladder. He's very, very strong as of late, and you know, he's a good person to test your metal against. He has a kind of a different style of Terran. He's not quite like a Speed. He's not super modern, super scary, incredibly fast, and he's not only a macro Terran either, a very defensive Terran. He's kind of somewhere in the middle. He does have kind of a unique style, as most strong Broodwar players do. Not really copying anyone in specific, just kind of running by his own, playing by his own rules. He's gonna get over here with his first Marine. This is a pretty standard play, just to push away the first drone. Even gonna return that mineral there. Is Soma gonna go after this SCV? He almost gets the SCV. He may end up getting it in the end. The bunker is pretty healthy, but will have to be canceled, and the Marines are gonna be sent back home. So really not getting what he was looking for out of this bunker. And in fact, even more lings are being made. Gonna dive on top. I'm not sure if this is the greatest trade for Soma right now. He's going after that one Marine that's low. He does manage to get it. Now only 2 Marines moving across the map, and 2 lings should be able to finish that off. And indeed, he will pick off that last Marine. Maybe one more rallying could help. Yeah, he's just gonna do a ring around the rosy game here. Oh, a little bit of range on that ling. Picking it off over the side. Just like sniping over the shoulder with one, whatever, I don't even know what those things are. Claw, little human hands, I guess, that they have. You can see the little human hands there on the front. He reached over that Marine's shoulder and just clawed at the other Marine's face off. That would be traumatic, honestly. That Marine makes his way back home. He's got a little bit of damage on him as well, but he's going to have nightmares over that event for probably the rest of his life. He's gonna wake up seeing those human hands of the Zergling reaching out of the darkness. Wake up screaming. I can imagine it. But behind this, Shiny, after losing quite a few Marines, is gonna go for a 2 racks pressure. Go ahead and start that stim pack. It is a little bit slow though. Everything's been slowed down because of that early game aggression that didn't go so hot. And I would say Soma is in pretty good form. Has a decent advantage already. He's built quite a lot of lings, but he really got the trades necessary to make it worth it. Moving forward with a big group of Marines, but no medics with this yet. And we're already at 5 minutes 20. So what the 2 racks is really meant to do, and what it's supposed to be able to do, is push across the map and force a sunken colony. At least one. If you got 6 lings to back this up, which he does in fact have, which Soma has. Just one sunken colony should be enough to buy the time to get the mutas out, but he doesn't even need to build that sunken colony. He's just going to go directly into mutas. There's only 4 drones at the natural. Now I can tell you 3 drones at the natural on the minerals is a Mutalisk all-in. But he's got 4 drones, just a little extra bit of minerals coming in, and he's got the 3rd base on the way. So there is a possibility. Wait a second, he got in here before the turret was done? Oh my gosh, that's so painful. He loses the SCV and the turret. Now the Marines are moving out. Since he didn't build any sunken colonies, he's really going to be careful about letting these Marines go too far. But these Marines are being forced into the middle of the map quite early on. We don't even have range yet. So he's going to come back in, kill off this turret again, and this is starting to get out of control. Shiny going to come back into his main base, try to fight up this ramp, and you know that someone's going to take massive advantage over that. Oh, it's so brutally painful. Shiny just a little bit behind in his timings for his stim, and his turrets were slow. And now he's just getting pulled apart. Look at these Lings gonna run in from behind as well. Gonna help out to kill these Marines. There's not that many Mutalisks left over, but he will come in with the Lings for the flank. And that's gonna give him just enough DPS to force these Marines back. And we're very close to a bust. We're very close to this game just being over because Shiny was a little bit late with that turret. And the SCV gonna go down. He's continuing to take dominance over this barracks area, killing off SCVs over and over and over again while slowly droning up over at his 3rd base as well. He's still got enough Mutalisks to one-shot these Marines, so he's not going to be taking back this spot anytime soon. There's 4 medics in this group. Okay, he's run out of... he doesn't have 5 mutas anymore, so he cannot one-shot. He needs to pull a few more Mutalisks together. He's building 6 drones, though, behind this, so he's not gonna fully all in from this position. He wants to get some drones out, but his advantage is massive. Look at the overall worker counts on either side. There's no factory. He just starts it now. And so we don't have early tech. We don't have a bunch of barracks. There's only 2 barracks. He's trying to build a ton of turrets to just keep himself alive. And Soma is in firm control of this game. I would be feeling amazing if I was Soma here. Gonna come in, kill a few more SCVs. He's already done massive economic damage, but he's gonna look to just pick off a few more, just try to eke out a little bit more damage with these mutas. Give himself even more of an advantage going forward, because it is scary in the mid game against Terran. Even if they have a huge advantage, Zerg's fear the dropship play, the constant irradiates, and the potential busts that can come through and suddenly end the game for a Zerg player. And the more damage you can do early on, the less likely the Terran opponent will be to get in there and bust you. He's not going to have the momentum necessary to really punish you in that mid game. So he's going to come in again, maybe try to pick off a turret. There's still so many turrets here, though. A little bit of a mistake with the micro there. Quite a few of these mutas are very low, so he's got to be a little bit careful. Just reducing that Marine count a little bit more is nice, though. He's buying himself so much time to just sit here and chill. A tank is being made. It looks like he wants the tank push, but the hive is halfway done. And lurkers are going to be morphing out here very soon. I expect someone to get kind of aggressive with these as well. He'll probably come to the front, set up, 4 or 5 lurkers at the front entrance and wait for the push to come, and then just kind of move backwards and siege up over and over and over again, forcing the Marines and the stims, or excuse me, the stims and the comsats to come out. You don't have unlimited comsats, so you scan, the lurkers unburrow and move back. You scan again, the lurkers unburrow and move back, and then you gotta wait for scan. Takes a long time, and eventually you're gonna have those defilers out to deal with all of that. So 11 mutas still sharking around the space. He sees the tank. He knows that the opponent wants to push. Shiny wants to get in there with the tank push, but I don't think that Soma's going to allow that to happen. I really do feel like Soma's going to close this game out, and we're just going to be a party here. We're going to be watching to see the best way to close out a game as Zerg when you're in this kind of lead, is just to get into that Defiler play. Don't get too greedy. Don't try to take your 4th base right off the bat. Just make lurkers. In fact, he's keeping his lurkers back at home, which I am very surprised about. I did not expect him to just sit back at home with these. I expected to see, you know, 5 lurkers at the front of the base immediately, but he's keeping them back at home. He's gonna go ahead and get his evolution chamber somewhere. I'm not sure exactly where that is. Okay, there it is at the natural. 2 tanks are out now. Siege mode is about to be done, but look at that. Consume is halfway. By the time these tanks reach the other side of the map, Consume will be done. Okay, I see. He went for a vessel in the end. He's going to get into a Radiate here eventually as well, but that kind of prevents you from doing what I was talking about earlier, which is unburrow and then reburrow over and over again to bait the scans. And just kind of sandbag the push, but it doesn't really matter. He doesn't even need to sandbag the push at this point. He's going to have his Dark Swarm ready before you know it. Trying to get in there to snipe that Science Vessel. That can be a really strong play. You gotta be careful with your stacked Mutalisks, or stacked, excuse me, Lurkers. Let's pull out the pulls out the Mutalisk that was being irradiated pretty well. Snipes both of the tanks, but loses most of his Mutas. I guess that's okay. I don't know. I don't know if I like that decision. If he just built one Defiler and threw down a Darkstorm, he would have been fine. He still does need the Darkswarm. He can't just sit here and not Darkswarm. Start to kill off some of these Lurkers. These 2 Lurkers will die super fast if he targets that. I actually don't think he can target it right now. Oh, sniping down those Scourge. Pretty good control there from Shiny. Do we have... Oh, we're building Vultures back at home. That's interesting. There's the Darkstorm finally. And Soma's completely safe. Looks like Soma just wants to go into 4 base. I don't blame him. I thought he would go for a more aggressive play, but this is the good, safe way to play. Shiny gonna switch directly into mech. Interesting choice. We don't have a armory yet. Okay, there it is. Armory just finished. 2nd armory on the way. Oh my goodness, everything just got wiped out. I kind of missed that. I will picture it. Suddenly, the entire force just got annihilated by a plague and a couple of Scourge. A few Mutas mixed in. Couple Lings as well. Everything's gone. And I mean, this is not the position you want to be transitioning to mech from. Shiny 4 HP tank. Somehow that made it back home. He's adding on factories right now, but he doesn't have a containment on the Zerg rally points. And truly, Soma could just push right now. He's actually going into Ultra, which is fine. Can still go for Ultra in these situations. You just have to be a little bit aggressive, getting on top of the tanks before they reach critical mass. You have to keep things scrappy. You can't allow the tank count to get too high, otherwise you're going to be in a lot of trouble. And it's going to be moving across the map with a bunch of Mutas and Scourge. There's not that many vessels and not that many Marines either, so you got to be really careful with these. Oh, he loses 1 vessel. Very frustrating. His Mutas are gonna get irradiated. Looks like he's not paying attention to that. Could lose quite a few of these Mutas. Oh, painful. Quite a bit of damage on those Mutas. But really no damage back at home to speak of. Gonna be getting up to 60 drones very soon. And what can our Terran player do about that? Well, he's not really gonna do anything at all aside from start to take multiple bases around the map. I'm gonna try to get up on this high ground, start a CC in bottom right, maybe start some factories as well. That can be a good play. Just start cranking out tanks. I put 1 factory there with an add-on and just start making tanks and setting them up on high ground. Either one of those two areas, and start, like, want to split this map in half. That's probably the only way that Shiny can possibly win this game. He has to prevent things like this from happening, though. I don't know how this Defiler made it across the map. I guess there's one gap that goes this direction through all of, oh god, that Science Vessel as well. Through all of the mines and stuff. He actually needs to move one barracks over to that right-hand side. Make sure he has some, oh god, another vessel gonna go down. Dude, Soma's doing so well with this. The way he's sniping down these vessels is incredibly impressive. And it's so painful for the Terran. Gonna get one more kill on that Defiler. Finish off that Defiler. Will he cast the Darkstorm before he dies? No. That could have bought a lot more time, by the way. But he's not able to do that. And so eventually this will be cleaned up. Currently, Shiny is working with 3 bases. Really does need that 4th base, though, to make it possible for the mech play to be sufficient. One lurker here will eventually get cleaned up. Upgrades are looking good. Let's take a look. +2, +1. Hasn't started that +3 just yet. Needs to get that Carapace upgrade on the way pretty soon. He's about to pop out a huge amount of ultras, though. Look at that, 2,400 gas in the bank. Scourge looking for more vessels to kill. Looks like they're gonna have a hard time finding any because I think they're all dead. There's probably one vessel, there it is, in the middle of the map. I don't know what that's doing there. We could see also a big Mutalisk transition. I'd love to see more upgrades coming from the Zerg player on that Spire at this point. I'd also love to see +1 or +3 armor. There it is, +3 armor on the way. More factories down in bottom right. Shiny is gonna go for the Hail Mary of just taking more bases and getting a big economy with this mech. It's like, if this doesn't work, we are completely screwed. We have to hold down all of these bases. I don't think there's anything in these. No, Overlords are empty, but Ventral Sax is on the way. Looks like he wants to play Ultra. There's 9 Ultras in production, by the way. 9 Ultras in production. Ooh, great mine. Great mine connection there. Ultra with drop. Ultra with drop is a good way to deal with these siege tank heavy forces. See if there's some Goliaths getting added on, but I would, like I said, love to see him just switch back into mutas. If he goes ahead and builds, like keeps these upgrades going and then just builds a whole bunch of mutas, there are almost no vessels in this game. There's like 2 vessels, maybe. I see 1 vessel on the entire map, and look, it's about to get picked off. Boom, that vessel goes down. Yeah, there's no vessels. Now there's one. So, how are you gonna deal with the big Mutalisk flock? I tell you, you're probably not. Ultra's coming out now on the map. There's no tanks yet in this bottom right-hand corner, and so the Ultra's moving around this side may be able to slip by. No mines down here. He really needs to set up a bunch more mines so that he doesn't get broken in bottom right. Soma's not really moving just yet. Meet us down here, but he's not continuing to produce those. He's making a lot more Ultras. Some Goliaths are finally starting to increment out, but you can see he still doesn't even have Charon boosters, which is kind of crazy. Small force hitting on the left side, gonna draw some attention away. Oh man, these poor vultures just running in are gonna get annihilated. Bunch of stuff loaded up into these drops, I think. Okay, only what, 1 Ultra? And a Defiler, but 1 Ultra plus a Defiler is going to be enough. That's going to be the ticket indeed. He's going to be able to take out this bottom right-hand corner base. There's nothing that Shiny can do about that at this point. And this was, like I said, the Hail Mary play. He had to make this work, or he is probably going to lose this game. And yeah, he does tap out. GG is called. Shiny leaves this game. He gets overwhelmed by Ultra. Because of that early game, it's just so hard to transition into mech play. But this is just one game in 6. We've got so many games from so many different players. We've got ZVT, ZVP, all Soma games, guys. Let's jump into them. Hopping into our next game, we've got Soma versus Noob. Noob, our Protoss player, up in the top left-hand corner. This game was played just about a week ago. I think all of these games were played within the last 2 weeks. So very hot and fresh off the ladder. Got Noob up here. Opening gateway first. Spawning pool has begun. Over pool for Soma. I haven't seen this ID actually. Hassol 222. Another ID from Soma. Been playing on a bunch of different IDs, including barcodes and such. Keeping his hands fresh. Keeping his gameplay clean. It's tough to keep your mind right and stay on top of this game if you don't have a huge amount of time to dedicate to it. If you take any time off at all, it's gonna result in some pain when coming back, and I know from experience, and I'm going to be experiencing some of that pain here pretty soon. I took about 3 weeks off because I was very sick, and now I'm kind of dreading the return. Honestly, it's gonna be a rough climb back to well, what am I even worried about? Back to what? We're like mid B rank, high B rank. It's still going to be rough to get back into the swing of things once again. Sometimes it feels like you just don't have the flow anymore after you take a little bit of a break. I think you guys know what I mean. Third base has started here for Soma. A bit of a pylon block went down, and it forced him to throw down the third, or the natural at the third base, which is fine. It's going to be able to smoothly transition out of that. Ling gets stuck there. You actually have to hit stop position when that happens. You have to hit S on that Ling, and then it'll start to move again. It's generally going to happen when you're using A commands, when you're using A clicks. Sometimes the Lings will just get stuck. Nothing you can really do about it except for hit that S command, like I said, and try not to get too frustrated. Can be incredibly annoying at times when those Lings get stuck and you're just not quite able to bust something that you should have been able to bust. Let's see what he does with his first 100 gas. It's likely going to be a layer still running around here in the natural, just being a bit of a annoying little Zerg player. He's trying to get in there, maybe kill off a probe or two. Wow, this is some very good control out of Soma. He's actually built quite a few more Lings. He's doing a bit more of a commitment than I would have expected. Has the opportunity to maybe try to surround this Zealot, but another one pops out. Now it's 2 Zealots in the front and 2 Zealots in the back. The gateway is getting a little bit low, but he misses that probe move out. Ooh, gets 1 probe in the mineral line. Not bad. Losing a Ling. Probably gonna have to just sack these Zealots here pretty soon. Going after the gateway once again. Of course, layer on the way. The probe's gonna get in and see everything. Speed is still not quite yet done. Oh, this probe is gonna block. And the Ling will fall. That last probe, making it away with just what 2 HP. Oof. That's a bit frustrating. Ling speed just now finishing up as well. And so we will see this probe, the scouting probe, go down relatively soon. But this is a very nice scout from Noob, just to figure out what's coming. He knows he doesn't have to, you know, throw down any emergency cannons or anything like that. He sees how many Lings are coming. It's a fair amount, as he is aware this is a gateway expand and no Zealots have died so far. You gotta be a little bit careful. Cannot be caught with your pants down right now with a bunch of drones being built, and you can see he is starting to get supply blocked. If the Zealots are moving out right now and you don't have enough Lings to deal with that, oh man. That can be extremely expensive. An expensive mistake. And so he will get a very good number of Lings. 12 Lings is excellent. Did lose one to the cannon there, but you can start to surround Zealots at the back of the pack. You can slow this down. You can threaten the run by as well with only one cannon. 12 Lings can just run right in there, and it looks like he will go for that run by. Oh, great block here. He's actually going to go for the gateway. I don't know if I agree with this. The Zealots are going to come up from behind. He does kill the gateway. Will run by now. Gets 2 Lings into the main. Not bad. Not the worst in the world. Not the best either. But I think he'll just take it from here. He's going to go ahead and start pumping out a whole bunch of Hydras. He gets supply block, though, right as the Zealots are coming across the map. And this could be a real problem. Is just going to be able to push away those few Corsairs. But Zealots are coming right in behind this. Here comes the Hydras up to the front. He's got a pretty good block. He will pull the drones in order to get on top of this. This is a great pull. The drones are doing so much work to just slow this down. He's even pulling away drones that are being targeted. Oh, that one drone. Looks like he will keep it alive. Very nicely done. One more Zealot will be split off over towards that third base. There's actually nothing over here, funnily enough. But just the fact that he went for that natural means that Soma's going to be able to hold on with flying colors. And he's even going to pick off this Zealot. He's going to come down and kill this Zealot as well. Corsair's probably going to end up going down, unless he just wants to make a run for it. Yeah, he's not going to be able to kill that Overlord before the Corsair falls. So this is a perfect hold by Soma, honestly. I thought he was going to be in a little bit of trouble after losing all of those Lings and only killing the one gateway, but he did an excellent job keeping himself alive in this kind of tense situation and still able to get out drones. I think he was like 34 drones and he just starts pumping mass Hydra. Very nicely done. 4 cannons behind this. He needs those 4 cannons because the Hydra's number is a bit high. Going up to 45 drones now. We'll be looking to take his fourth, excuse me, relatively soon. Hydra's looking to do a little poking action. I don't think they have range, but I could be wrong about that. Maybe they do. Now that I'm looking at the way they're damaging this gateway, you can hit the gateway. You can't hit the forge though if the cannons are right next to it. If the cannons are on the top side of the gateway and you're at the bottom side, you can hit it without range, but not the forge. Now, Aspire is coming up behind this. Overlord speed is done already. That's quite a quick Overlord speed. Seeing the Overlord speed that fast might be giving Noob a bit of false information. He might be thinking, are you going for drop or something? Like, what's going on here? Why do you have speed so quick? Overlord speed so fast. And I don't see a Spire either because he threw that down when out of the vision of Noob. Noob hasn't been able to get in there and actually see anything. So I think we're going to see a big switch back into Mutalus that could completely surprise Noob. Yeah, Noob could be caught completely off guard by this. 4th base has yet to go down, but we've got 3 gases mining. There's no lurker. I wouldn't be surprised to see 10 mutas get made right now. There's a drone down towards bottom right. He's gonna go ahead and try and take that base. Sending actually 2 drones down here. Maybe one just in case the first one didn't make it, or maybe for a second hatchery, I'm not sure. Hydra's spreading out everywhere. He's looking for Zealots moving through the map, and there they are. Cannons being made in the mineral lines. Looks like he's figured it out. 11 mutas have been made, or are being made. I don't know if he flew through with the Corsair. Maybe he did. Maybe he did fly through with the Corsair and see that that spire. Now he's gonna see all the mutas, and oh boy. Yep. There's the mutas. That is a problem. A big, big problem. One cannon in the main is not going to be enough. I think an Archon actually would be great right now. Archon is probably going to be the move. He picks up 2 Templar and 2 Zealots, and he's going to send this out on the map while his main base is getting ravaged. Oh boy, running right on top of this cannon. He can't storm that or he will lose every single probe, and so he loses the Templar, and now he's going to lose a bunch of probes. Dragoons are out in this main. He's going to try to track down the mutas. Oh, great storm there, doing a lot of damage. 2 Zealots get dropped here in the main base, going for the storms now. All right, pretty good storms overall. He's got another storm. Oh my god, he kills so many drones there. Still, a lot of drones are alive for Soma, and he's gonna track down this shuttle as well. So this is not looking as good as it otherwise would have for Noob. I'm gonna lose that shuttle. Zealot's not really gonna get too much more damage. And Noob has yet to take another base, whereas Soma's expanding like crazy. He's growing like mad. Look at him double expanding out on the map. He knows he's got Noob backed into a corner. Dominant gameplay from Soma so far. He's reacted to everything Noob's been doing perfectly, and he's just cornering him. He's backed him into a corner. He's in a bad spot. Noob doesn't really have an answer. And Soma's just gonna slowly close the noose. Look at the supply advantage. Oh my goodness. How is he this much better than Noob? This is very, very dominant performance. My god. He must have gotten the range at some point. I didn't see that in the production tab, but he's got all the other upgrades. He doesn't have Lurker though yet. He's just got masses upon masses of Hydras, and honestly I think that's all he needs. He's gonna fly through with the mutas over top of these mineral patches so that the storms can't be thrown down on them. Templar sent all the way to the main base, never even casting the storm, and only able to push away the mutas by their presence, not with actual damage on them. And so Soma still has this big air force which can at any time dive on top of these Templar. I'm so surprised that we're not seeing Protoss. We're seeing this over and over again. We're seeing Protoss players not build Archons or Dark Archons to deal with mutas. It's like immediately when you see 11 mutas at the natural, at the rally point, why would you not build an Archon? It drives me crazy. Noob living up to his name, honestly. Having no response to this Mutalisk play, and he is gonna get worked. Absolutely worked. Look at the Sauron Zerg play from Soma. He's taking every base. He's got a base in the bottom left. He even snipes this observer. He has so many Hydras. Let's take a look at the upgrades. Only +1 is done. +2 is about to finish. 1-1 on these gateway units, but I mean the 3rd just came up, the 4th is on the way. Will Soma even allow that? I mean, he could if he wants to. He's 195 supply, but he's got all the other bases on the map. So what? You've got 4 bases when I've got, you know, 7. Doesn't really matter that much. Gonna fly through, kill a few Templar. Now's the time to pull the trigger with all of these Hydras coming in from multiple angles. There is the storm on the low ground. He will take a pretty big storm. A lot of damage there, but I just don't see the Templar over at this natural. Look at how many Hydras are coming up this ramp. He's just gonna stand and fight. As soon as all the Zealots are gone, the Dragoons are gonna start to melt. Hydras coming up this ramp as well. There's a storm here, but it's just not enough. Dragoons are holding their own reasonably well, but you can just see the Remax coming so quickly. He's now 60 supply ahead. And the fourth base has been obliterated. He was only able to hold on to this third. But I don't think he's going to be able to keep that alive for much longer. Soma hasn't been able to set up his other bases just yet, but he'll be transferring drones around very shortly. There we go. You see just tracks of drones heading out on the map, being sent to these different locations where they'll be able to mine healthily. And yeah, he is just going to overwhelm this position. We're going to see the Sauron Zerg in full effect, diving now onto this third base. Noob just barely keeping that alive for the time being. The next wave, though, should be the last. Even Ultralisk Cavern on the way. This is what it looks like when I play against like a C rank player, or you know, an S rank plays against an A rank or a B rank player. They're just able to take the entirety of the map. They have so much control in the game that there's really no hope for the Protoss player. And there it is. GG is called. Sauron Zerg Soma taking over this game once again. Let's see if we can get a closer game in our next couple of series. We got 2 more series, 4 more games remaining. Let's jump right in. So far in our series, Soma has been able to dominate in the early game of both matchups, ZVP and ZVT. Let's see if Tyson can give him any trouble now. This old MBC legend. Oh, look at this. A bit of a switch up. Oh no, wait a second. This is an overpool again. My bad. Overpool here from Soma. Gonna be sending out that drone to grab his hatchery at the natural. A gateway expand from Tyson, who has been around since the Kespa era. He's a Bai clan player. Bai Tyson, who's been playing since 2007 in the big leagues. He's just never had the same success as some of his colleagues from the same era. He's been in kind of the background, in kind of the sideshow, playing in K-League and winning some minor tournaments, but not able to show up big in the ASL or anything like that. He's still a very strong Protoss player, and he might have some tricks up his sleeve to put Soma through his paces. Here comes the first set of Lings. Now on this map, putting on pressure might be a little bit more of a good idea, or a good strategy for Soma, because here, as you can see, the Forge will only have 1 gap in the middle, but we've got a double 2 hex gap on the right hand side. Just a 1 hex gap between the Forge and Gateway. So building a few more links. Okay, it's not really building that many more, just 1 more set behind this. If he was building the same number of Lings as last game, you might be able to ring around the rosy this long enough to get some damage going, but this time he's going to be a little bit more passive. And he's going to let Tyson get away with not having a Zealot on the ramp. He's going to set up his Forge now. And Soma just going to wait for a potential move out that could come while defending at his natural, just making sure that the probe can't slip by. Comes another attempt to get past. Nice snipe there on the probe. Not going to allow Tyson to build his Forge when he wants to. He actually built a cybernetics core first, so he's trying to get a little bit greedy. He's going to set up his Forge now. There's a little bit of a gap here at the top of the ramp. He tries to slip by with the Lings. He only gets 3 Lings by. Okay. Thought he was going to lose 1 more of those. But the probe went down over on his side of the map. And 3 Lings in your main is not a very good start for Tyson. I have some trouble removing these. And he doesn't really want to, it seems, send zealots across the map just yet. Oh gosh, he's actually gonna... Oh, he gets 1 probe. And he loses the Ling. So that's not bad, actually. That's actually okay for Tyson. I would trade the 1 probe for 3 Lings in my main. If I was playing Protoss. Especially against Soma. With Ling speed about to finish. Yeah, you're pretty happy with that, I would say. Drones are finishing up en masse. Ling's gonna run by with that speed. Oh gosh, Tyson. It's a 2 hex gap on that right-hand side. He tries to block it with 1 zealot. And now 4 more Lings are in the main. And this time they have speed. This time they're not gonna be killed so easily. Gets 1 probe. He should be able to get more. Don't want to dive too far into that mineral line or the probes will just bug out your Lings and kill them all. And so he's got to look at the periphery. Oh boy, got to go after what 1 probe at the bottom. Make sure that it doesn't block him in. He does get 2 more probes. Trying to click on the probe there. Does a little bit of a misclick, but gets another one in the end. Back at home, Hydra Den is done. Hydra speed is on the way. No layer for him. He's just going to rely on Hydras to defend his overlords and trying to obfuscate the other one on the map. He's only got 1 overlord across the map, so it's a pretty good setup from Soma. Does lose. Are we gonna cancel the cannon? He sees the Hydras. There it is. He cancels the cannon. Sometimes you want to build the cannon when Lings run by into your main base. It can be a good idea, but as soon as he sees that there's no mutas and that the last Ling is about to die, like, there's really no point in having that cannon. So I'm glad that he canceled it. Looking at the drone count, though, once again, Soma just light years ahead already. We've barely started this game. We're 6 minutes in. And Soma already has a pretty sizable advantage. Like, you gotta give it to him. He knows how to handle these early games in both matchups. Making Tyson look a little bit silly. Just allowing Lings to slip by over and over again. And now he's adding more gateways. He's starting to press out with some zealots, but there's zealot speed. Got Groove Spines on the way. Hydra speed. Hydra range. Zealot speed's also on the way, but I was trying to say Hydra speed is done. And so with that Hydra speed being done and 6 hatch worth of production, oh, actually 5 hatch worth of production so far, is definitely going to be able to pump out enough Hydras to defend against this small group of zealots that may be coming across to pester him soon. Only 2 Corsairs as well. It's not going to kill overlords that quickly, and so he's going to move across the map with these Hydras, start to pressure down some of these zealots. Doing a little bit of that micro. Going to keep the majority of these Hydras alive. The zealots moved out before they had speed, and so he could actually kill, you know, multiple zealots right now. I'm going to dive right on top of these and just start to take this trade. There's really nowhere for Tyson's zealots to run, and so 1, I think, is going to get that speed upgrade and finally dart its way away. Can he make a run for it? There it is. He gets the speed, the jet boosters. He hits the NOS and gets out of there. 13 HP left on that. I guess he gets the privilege of checking if Soma has taken a 4th base just yet, and indeed he hasn't. And so knowing that, I guess that gives him a little bit of hope in this game, perhaps. But right now he's just building cannons. He's got some Templar. Does not have Storm yet, so just 4 cannons. You could break this. It's potentially possible. 2 DTs going to be dropped into the natural. 1 DT into the natural, 1 into the main. Overlord speed is done, however. This DT gets 3 kills. Doesn't get the 4th. Some kills gonna go down in this main base as well. 2 kills so far. 3, 4, 5. Okay, not bad. You know what? What was that? Total 9 kills? That was some pretty good maneuvering from Tyson. He's almost gonna lose his Forge, unfortunately. Forge is very close to going down. He doesn't have energy. No, he's got energy now for Storm. Here we go. Storm. There it is. Oh boy. Quite a bit of damage from that Storm, but he loses the Forge. And so he won't have +1 armor, which is actually very important. Very important against a Zerg player who already has +2 attack on the way. The ground army of Tyson is going to melt. Absolutely melt. If he is behind 2 upgrades. And very well maybe behind 2 upgrades for at least a little while. You can see the Forge has now started, but of course +2 attack is a little bit further along the way, so there's going to be a timing where Tyson's not going to want to take a fight right before that +1 armor is done. We'll see if Soma can time that out and take a important battle right as his +2 finishes. That would be sick. It would be kind of disgusting to some of you Protoss players out there to see just how dominant Hydras can be when you're that far behind in upgrades. Oh my goodness, it's painful. Everything gonna melt, especially those Dragoons. Blue blood will be spilled, that's for sure. Double upgrade in, or double expansion, excuse me, down in bottom right. And he's already up to 61 drones. Will be producing nothing but Hydras, Lurkers, and Overlords for the time being. May end up going into a bunch of Lings as well, but he hasn't started Hive yet. It doesn't look like he wants to. We may end up seeing drop. Drop play could be kind of strong. Setting up on this high ground with a lot of Lurkers is very good as well. If you just want to contain your opponent, it's not a bad move. Sharking around with those 6 mutas, looking for some Templar snipes, because he's mostly Hydras at this point. Almost all Hydras. And so if you take the fight with the Zealot Dragoon, even if you have a lot of like a big upgrade advantage, those storms can change the map. Here we go. Big storm on that right hand side, dealing a lot of damage. Diving in, he kills both the Templar. Now the fight's going to occur. Oh gosh, these Dragoons are going to just get destroyed. Look at how quickly they're all falling as the Zealots try to come up and help. One more storm gets thrown down. One more at the back end. He's still got another one. He does throw down that one more storm. He has, and another one into that army. But dude, Tyson is having a rough day, man. He just used every storm that he has, and he lost the majority of his Dragoons. Trying to push out on the map now, but Soma is building into a massive force of mutas, pumping out a huge amount of Hydras as well. He's starting a couple of creep colonies, emergency ones, in his natural, just in case he's not able to hold off. Kills off both of those Templars that cross the map. And so this is just pure Dragoon Zealot that Tyson's gonna try and kill the third base with. There's another Sunken coming up over here. He kills both of the observers. I don't see any Lurkers out yet, although Lurker upgrade finished quite a while ago. So mutas are gonna come in, dive on top of a lot of these Zealots. Some drones are gonna fall in this fight, but there's no storm to clean them up quickly and easily. Instead, he's just gonna slowly send forward a few more Dragoons and Zealots. Meanwhile, these Hydras clearing out the majority of the Zealots and Dragoons. The army is pretty much gone, and not that much economic damage was dealt to Soma. You can see he has his bases saturated. We're gonna kill the remainder of these Dragoons. I think we're about at the tap out moment for Tyson. I know he finished this base, and he can still technically survive in this game, but Soma is just gonna bust ahead so far. It's not gonna be fair. There's not much of a chance left for Tyson. You can see 70 drones, man. 70 drones, you can do a lot with that. There's just so much you can do with 70 drones. He will be switching into Hive. Second evolution chamber is on the way as well. A third evolution chamber, excuse me. Gonna be getting triple upgrades rolling here in a moment. Full saturation. I think there's a little bit too much saturation at the main and natural. This third is looking a little bit low, and you could definitely transfer more workers down to the bottom right, but these are just small nitpicky things. Overall, Soma charging ahead in supply now, 30 supply ahead of Tyson, and his upgrades are looking fantastic. It's still 1-1 here for Tyson, by the way. Diving in, he kills another Templar. There's still a few more remaining. 2-0 is ready for Soma as he starts his next few upgrades. He actually forgot about +3 ranged attack, but that's okay. 2 more bases going up in the top right hand corner. As long as you're getting Ling attack and Ling armor, that is 100% fine. +3 Hydra attack is not going to be that impactful in the remainder of this game. Once he gets the crackling upgrade and all of these Ling upgrades start to come into play, flooding the map with Lings will eventually overwhelm Tyson, I think. Still sharking around, getting a few Templar kills here and there. Looks like he'll find this one as well. Oh, okay. There's a free Templar there. I want to go after that. Nice job. Gonna pick that off. And gets the probe heading over to top center as well. You can see Tyson just about out of money in his main and natural, and so he needs a 4th base. But he's not really able to expand or prevent Soma from expanding. Either one is a little bit too much of a tall order. Maybe he can try to crack the natural, though. If he just goes all in on this natural and tucks himself into this corner so that the flanking army that's coming from behind has to go through a bit of a choke, maybe there's a hope. He tries to take middle. That's funny. Goes down a nexus in the middle. That's not going to happen. Adrenal glands is not done. +1 armor and +1 attack is not done on these Lings either. He goes after the Templar. Gets 2 Templar. There's only 1 remaining. Uh-oh. He's got 2 storms. He's only got 2 storms and a lot of zealots. So many zealots. It's kind of crazy. The zealots are not going to do much against these dragoons, and the dragoons are actually going to back off from this natural. I don't know. He's doing something. He's actually getting ahead in supply now. Someone making things happen. Or Tyson making things happen, excuse me. Soma going to push over here. That's a non-starter. You don't want to push across that bridge. Not with 2 Templar there and a bunch of dragoons. He's going to come up and try again. I think that, again, non-starter. It's probably not going to make it too far. He does push things back a little bit, but there's no actual storm there to help defend. A lot of sunken colonies up here in the top right. I don't like pushing into this base in bottom right. I feel like this is the only opportunity for Tyson to kill this base down here or up here in the top right. If he just goes... Oh no, he's just gonna get massacred. So many lurkers in here. And it's mostly a zealot army coming up from behind this. So I'm gonna start to splatter this Protoss army. Oh my god. It's so bad. Cover your eyes, Protoss players. Everything gets absolutely slaughtered. This doesn't even look fair, the way that someone's doing it, but really it's Tyson's fault for having so many zealots in this army and just sending them into lurkers. I mean, zealots could kill this. Zealots could absolutely kill this. You run up that army into this, can kill that. You can kill the Nidus. Of course, you're not actually killing many units, and a lot are going to come up from behind you. But as long as the Nidus wasn't there yet, like the Nidus I didn't see earlier, he could have broken top right, and then maybe he still has a chance. Like, maybe you can split the map in half from that scenario, but with Soma holding this base and all these sunken colonies that are now done, I just don't see it. Soma maybe just gonna take this game away and clean sweep through all of these players that I've picked out, all of these matches that I picked out. It's not exactly what I was hoping for, but hey, you cannot deny the skill displayed in these games by Soma. He is incredible. We're getting a nice look at what he's capable of in 2024. At the end of 2024, he'll be back in 2025 playing in the ASL, and I'm excited, as I'm sure a lot of you are, to see his performance in that biggest of tournaments. Is breaking in now to the center left, and as soon as that base goes down, I really don't see how Tyson can make a comeback. He's being a little bit slow bringing his observer to the front. He will bring everything down to pick off these lurkers, but it's a little bit too late. As long as he focuses this nexus, I guess he's just gonna focus probes. All right, kills all the probes and then the nexus. There it is. 31 probes remain to the 87 drones of Soma. Sauron Soma. That's what we might as well call him for this series. Sauron, excuse me. Sauron Soma. Sending masses of red Zerg across the map. 1,900 minerals in the bank. Nearly maxed out. It's time to build an Ultralisk Cavern, I think. Oh, as I say that, he builds a second one. He's already got chitinous plating on the way. A lot of sunken colonies down here, but they're not morphed in yet. I think he's gonna morph those right as Tyson makes his way down towards this base. Oh gosh, probes are going down en masse. This base over here at the top center is going to be lost, and GG is called. Tyson taps out of his first game versus Soma. Another dominating victory for the Sauron Soma. Okay, game number 2 of Soma versus Tyson. Once again, going for it this overpool style. Feels like Tyson wants to throw out a Nexus first. Uh-oh. Well, this might be a quick game, guys. We'll see how fast the Forge follows after this Nexus. But in general, you need to have the cannon started before the set of lings hatches, before the lings hatch. And so he's gonna get in. Let's see how many lings are produced. He's actually waiting for the hatch or the spawning pool to finish before building anything, and he does make 2 sets of lings. A third set? No, a drone gets made. I'm a little bit surprised by that. I'm surprised he wants to build a drone there. Goes ahead and mines 1 mineral off this patch. Oh no, he doesn't. He actually goes back. A little bit surprised about that. But here comes that cannon. Okay, cannon. No! He doesn't make the cannon. Okay, he makes the cannon after the gateway. That is risky. Very risky, and lings are already on the way across the map. Tyson's gonna have to pull probes. What are you doing? Tyson, pull probes. Okay, here we go. 4 probes being pulled. There's 3 gaps in this wall. Oh no, 2 gaps in the wall. Sorry, here and there. And it's gonna pull 1 probe down to the bottom side. Oh my god, it's not gonna engage? Really? What is this? What did he say there? I'm gonna have to look this up. What are they talking about? Okay, so I looked it up and he said something like, just 1 time, please. That's what Soma said. And Tyson replied with, thanks, bro. So I guess he just gave him a pass? I don't really know. I guess he was feeling generous. It's like, I guess I'll let you Nexus first. It's okay, bro. You can have this one. I'm not gonna kill off a bunch of your probes and try to run by into the main. I'll just sit back and let you macro up. We'll see how this one goes. And Tyson, he's gonna take his edge, his ill-gotten gains here, and hopefully give us a good match. It would be pretty disappointing if he still got run over by Soma, despite having this sort of lead where you've gone for Nexus first, Gateway, then Cannon into an overpool and gotten away with it. Yeah, that shouldn't happen. You shouldn't not lose even a single probe to that. You definitely should lose at least 3 probes trying to defend the cannon early on. And he lost nothing. Now we've got Lings popping out for Soma. He's putting the Lings together right now. He's chasing down this first Zealot. He's got the second group of Lings just in case there was a second Zealot coming. Seems that Tyson not wanting to send in that second Zealot just yet. Good pull. Keeping that Ling alive. Yeah, you can see it's in the rally for that second Zealot coming across the map, and Soma's just on top of everything. He's gonna keep droning from here. Still quite far behind. I say that, but look at the numbers are still looking pretty okay for Soma. Generally, when your opponent gets away with Nexus first, they just have a lot more probes than you. There's no two ways about it, but Tyson's not doing the greatest job of just slamming out probes, and maybe he doesn't want to go to, you know, 40, 50 probes this game. Maybe he wants to stop a little bit early, build a whole bunch of gateways, and try to do some sort of 2-base timing. That is a possibility. He's gone up to 37 workers. And he's sort of halted. He has his Templar archives out. Let's see if he starts dropping gateways like crazy, or if he continues to build probes. It seems like he's just kind of randomly building probes, not very efficiently pumping them out. So this just goes to show you the level difference between Tyson and Soma is significant. Very significant indeed, because Soma's doing a great job putting himself together from this deficit. Has the sunken colonies coming up back at home. He's chasing down some of these zealots. The +1 upgrade's not done yet. I think he just barely missed these zealots actually heading over to top right, which could be a problem. 3 zealots coming to this base. Kind of an uneven time. Ooh, he gets the Corsair. That is important. The Corsair going down. I saw that he killed an Overlord earlier and supply block Soma, but now that he's killed that Corsair, things are looking up for Soma in this game. He's likely going to go for an Ogre Zerg play. As you can see, armor on the way, and a 3rd gas is already done. So this last Zealot will go down. The creep colony gets started. DT going to try and make its way into the natural. Won't make much progress. Hasn't started Overlord speed or anything yet, but he can continue to produce a ton of air units and possibly overwhelm in the main or natural. Maybe come in here, snipe a bunch of Templar, maybe go for the main base. There's only 1 cannon there. Since he killed that initial Corsair, there's only 5 total Corsairs available. Comes in, takes a bit of damage there. Don't want to be taking too much damage on those mutas. You do need to bring them all together. Finally, an Archon gets made. Thank God. It's pretty clear that he's going to do something with these mutas, so why not build an Archon? Corsairs are moving out. That's not the greatest plan, I don't think. Here comes the mutas towards the main base. 1 cannon, mind you. Could go down very quickly, but Soma, for his part, turns away, deciding not to commit there. His +1 armor's not quite done, and maybe that's the reason why he didn't want to go in just yet. There, +1 armor is done. He's gonna go for it now. Diving in on the main base. Splits off 2 Scourge to go ahead and snipe that Corsair. Here comes the engagement now. Jumping on top of these Corsairs. He kills the majority. That was a lot of damage. So suddenly on these units. Now fighting with the drones. There's only 1 sunken colony over in this top right-hand corner. He's targeting the Archon, which is a very good play from Soma. You really want to lower that Archon HP as much as possible. If you can kill that Archon, then the Mutas can actually clear out everything else. Going after the hatchery. This is a bit scary now. He's going to go ahead and kill that Archon, but the hatchery falls. And Zealots, as they're getting cleaned up, take a little bit more of a trade with these Hydras. 34 drones and no third base. You can, of course, mine from this hatchery, but it's not going to be efficient. That is for sure. And so, Soma falling desperately far behind in this game. He is really going to have a struggle now. That was a well-timed attack. Right as the commitment from the Mutas came in, he tried to go for the main. He killed a lot of these Corsairs, but it doesn't matter if the ground army kills your third base. Needed to have maybe double sunken at this base, but neglected to add that extra sunk. That little bit of extra defense could have saved the day for Soma. You can see how low that Archon got with just the 1 sunken colony hitting it. But if he had to, maybe, just maybe, he could have cleared that a little bit more efficiently. Saved the hatchery and kept himself in a reasonable position. Now he's struggling from behind. Let's see what kind of finesse plays he can pull out against Tyson to bring himself back into this game. He's already killed the probe at the 3rd. Delaying that for a little bit is very nice. A base gonna be set up in top right. Still on par, on curve for Soma. Taking this 4th base. Gonna be taking it up in the top right-hand corner while trying to chase down some of these Corsairs with the Scourge and the Mutas. As about 6 Corsairs in the mix. Ooh, great storm there on these Scourge and Mutas, but another Corsair falls and only 4 remain. 4 Corsairs against this many Scourge and Mutas. It's a tough battle to fight. I don't know where that Templar, that storm came from. Somewhere in the mix here? I guess it must have been from the ramp. Could have been in the corner? No, there's no Templar down there. Coming through with the Mutas once again to try to take another trade with these Corsairs. Nice job. Another Corsair goes down. Limiting the air dominance of Tyson. Opening up possible opportunities. He's still adding on more Mutas, so he really does want to snipe down a bunch of Templar. It's an excellent way to bring yourself back into one of these difficult games. A great comeback mechanic for the Zerg player. High value, high EV play from the Zerg perspective. Big storm on the back of these Mutas, and Scourge are going to come through. Quite a few of those Mutas did go down, though. A little bit slow to react there with the Mutas. Soma maybe having his attention elsewhere at that important moment. Is now going to fall back with a very damaged group of Mutas, and this is scary. You know, that high EV play that I was talking about, where you can dive in and kill all the Templar, is not going to be nearly as effective if these Mutas are already quite bruised. He flies in to the 3rd base and sees that there's no Templar here, so he's going to send in the big bulk of Hydras that he's gathered, try to maybe kill this 3rd base, but he's getting completely surrounded. Oh my gosh. Surrounded on all sides. These Hydras are going to be back into a tight little corner. They've got nowhere to run. He's trying to stay away from the Templar. as far away from them as possible, but they're finally going to get in range with those storms. He's caught between a rock and a very hard place, and everything goes down. Ugh. Ugh. So much blood and guts spilled on this beautiful blue terrain. And so the army of Soma has been completely obliterated. What does he have back at home to prevent this Dragoon Zealot force from just overwhelming and completely crushing him? Well, he's going to build a bunch of emergency sunken colonies, send some drones over to the 4th, and just hope that that doesn't get spotted. If Tyson doesn't know about that, he doesn't react to the base in the top right, and he just tries to attack into the natural. If he loses that fight, if he's not able to win from that attack, then there's a possibility that Soma could come back. Zealot over in the top right-hand corner is going to start to kill some drones. Hydras are being sent up to deal with that. Lurkers in the mix here at the natural. Second Hydralisk Den is going to be built in the main. That's just in case this Hydralisk Den goes down, which it's likely to do. Group of units are going to be split off to potentially go after top right. That top right-hand corner base is a big target right now. And in fact, it looks like Tyson wants to just go over there. At the same time, be taking the base in the bottom right for himself. Couple of lurker eggs gonna buy some time on this high ground. Mutas picking off, I think, Templar. I think he got a couple of Templar there. Yeah, there's no Templar left with this army. Got a couple of Dragoons, couple of Templar as the army's moving over towards that top right-hand corner. I have to picture that. Around the 15-minute mark, tons of sunken colonies going up, but he just doesn't have them done yet. Lurkers be burrowing it down here. I don't think that he'll be able to hold this. Mutas will be able to prevent the bottom right-hand corner base from finishing. But top right is completely dead, and a lot of money was spent to try and hold that. He built so many sunken colonies there, and most of them never even finished. Well, a big waste of cash for our Zerg player. Great snipes on those Templar. Tyson being very slow to respond to those Mutalisks diving on top of that army. Now Hydras are gonna kill the 3rd base. Soma, is he actually gonna win this game? It's getting close. If he kills the 3rd, there's almost no money left at the natural. Dude, this is crazy. Soma making one good maneuver after Tyson sends his entire army to top right to kill that base. The counterattack ends up working magnificently. If Tyson had sent 2 of the Templar over to this natural from the rally and kept more Templar back at this, the rest of the Templar back at the cannons here, there's no way that someone could have broken that so easily. In fact, the army should have been able to return in time to keep that base alive, and we wouldn't be sitting here with 25 probes. It is crazy that one single maneuver may end up winning this game for Soma. Tyson is struggling to move his army, trying to bring this 30 supply advantage to an area where it can actually deal some damage. He's moving towards top center, but he doesn't have a clear target just yet. Maybe the natural? Time to go at the natural? I don't think there's any lurkers under this, so maybe it's the right option. Just attack the natural and try to win the game right now. With such a worker deficit, it's unlikely that he'll be able to win. If he's forced to play this one out long, he's gonna run straight up into this natural, getting on top of these sunken colonies. A lot of them go down very quickly. There's only one lurker here, and it does end up dying. The Hydras are very grouped up in this tight location, and so the storms will be incredibly efficient Mutas are just gonna dive on the cannons down there at 6 o'clock. Great storm. Killing off a bunch of these Hydras. Gonna pull everything from top right. He doesn't even have a base up there, so why is he defending it? This Dragoon army is now on top of the hatcheries, and usually I would say that's a winning move, just having your Dragoons on top of your opponent's hatcheries. That should be a win for Tyson. However, there's still a lot of forces out on the map, and Tyson's really not going to be mining for much longer. He's only got a little bit of mining left, and this force is going to break its way into the natural. Big storm on a lot of these Hydras. That was a very important storm. The fact that he got that storm off might end up changing this game. There's one Overlord here, and so the DT will not be able to save this. Main base has not gone down. He's actually going to leave the main and send his Dragoon Archon army back home, hilariously. He really does need to kill this Hydra Den and stop all the drones from mining over there. Probes are going to get pulled back up into the main. There's 700 minerals left for Tyson. Where is he going with his army? I mean, I hope he doesn't try to break 12. GG, he taps out. Soma wins this game from an incredible deficit. Oh my goodness. From the beginning of this game, Soma was not in a good spot. But when he lost that army over in this little narrow bridge area, I thought he was screwed. I thought he was in way too much trouble. And then when he lost top right, things were looking incredibly bleak, but Tyson just did not have the defense back at home. He had a lot of cannons, but you need Templar on top of them. You need a couple of Templar at your third, a couple of Templar at your natural. He had the Templar at the rally point even, but he didn't have them in the position that they needed to be to defend against that counterattack, and that small oversight cost him this game. Damn, that is a painful loss for Tyson, and just a fantastic and I would say satisfying win as a Zerg player when you're in such dire straits, to use every resource at your disposal to be able to come back truly outsmarted his opponent in this game, truly outplayed strategically as well Tyson in this match. Well done. Let's jump into our next game, some more ZVT. That's coming right up. And for our second series, got two games with Soma versus BCM. And if you've never heard of BCM, I wouldn't blame you, but you've probably heard of Queen getting knocked out of the qualifiers last season. Not last season, the season before. It was quite an embarrassing moment for him. If you remember that series, then you remember BCM. He was the Terran player who had the audacity to 8 racks and 9 racks or 8 racks, something like that. 2 racks in the middle of the map and kill Queen, knocking him out of the qualifier. Obviously an aggressive Terran player. A bit of a well, not even a bit of an upset, a huge upset for him taking down Queen and preventing him from getting into that tournament at all. I mean, he's been such a staple, or had been such a staple in the ASL for so many years. To see him get knocked out that early and by a kind of a nameless Terran player was an interesting and unexpected event in Broodwar history. There was a great video from Jinjin 5000 about it, where he showed the reaction from pro players and from Queen himself, and how he was feeling quite down on himself after losing to BCM and getting eliminated at the qualifier level. Let's see what's gonna happen between BCM and Soma now, who has been showing so much dominance, such incredible performance today. I can't imagine him getting taken out by BCM, but maybe he's got something sly up his sleeve. He's gone for a 1 Rax. Likely 1 Rax into CC, but the Rax is on the high ground. He's not messing around with a Wallen, which has become very popular recently. Wallen is super trendy in Terran versus Zerg now. But he's not going to be utilizing that this game. He's just now going to scout bottom right with his SCV. He will find that Soma has opened a pretty standard build with a hatchery first. Double racks on a high ground. Okay. This is the sneaky stuff I was talking about. This is a clown show. BCM. We're in his world now. We're in the circus. And things are about to get messy. Soma picking off that SCV is nice, but it's seen kind of what he needed to see. What needs to happen for Soma is he actually has to get across this map and see that there's not a CC down. If he sees no CC, then he knows exactly what's happening. Just hasn't been able to get over here as of yet. We're gonna have 5 Marines and an SCV to potentially fight back these Lings. Oh man, he's building quite a few Lings. 4 more, total 8, and he's got speed. We might see BCM just die. Yeah, 8 speedlings. Oh, okay. He gets 3 Lings right off the bat. That's actually huge. 3 Lings just went down, and he wasn't able to get any information. Oh, targeting down Lings here is very good. Soma hasn't been able to see it. Okay, I think he just saw that there's no CC. Very important that he saw that there was no CC. Does he build? Wait, did he not see that? I don't know if he saw there was no CC, man. If he did, he would have been building 3 sunken colonies right now. Oh, dude, he has no idea. He has no idea. Soma gonna get completely caught off guard. He only saw the 5 Marines, and now there's gonna be another, what's this, 6 Marines plus 2 medics coming up to the front. And this is it. GG, man. We're gonna see Soma's first loss of the night. It's gonna be to BCM. Oh my goodness. What an absolute clown show. GG. Soma taps out. And BCM takes another huge upset victory. Just building fire bats behind that's funny. Only way that Soma could possibly hold on is just by building a bunch of Lings. Look at that. Building double sunken colony in his main. Realizing that's probably not going to be the ticket, he taps out, but crazy. Wild that BCM is... He can't keep getting away with it, guys. He cannot keep getting away with it. Like I said, we've got 1 more game between these two. Let's see how Soma punishes him in game number 2. Now for our last game of the night, BCM versus Soma. A reckoning is upon us. It was hilarious watching his series versus Queen, and especially from Queen's perspective, because basically what BCM did was 2 racks him twice in a row, something like that, and 8 racks or 2 racks twice in a row, and killed Queen that way. So I think as Soma, it would be insane not to have your guard up in this second match. Really wild that Queen, you know, didn't take it seriously in his games versus BCM and ended up losing his chance to get into ASL. Now, the stakes aren't as high here, obviously, but still. Soma, he's not a dummy. He's gonna throw down his spawning pool and overpool And let's see what kind of overpool it is. Okay, very quick extractor after the hatchery at the natural. That is interesting. This is a very fast extractor. One build that I'm familiar with is 12 pool, 12 hatch, 11 gas is like a very, very fast layer that will get you into all-in muta. You can do like an all-in 2 hatch muta with 3 drones at the natural. It's a build that I've been playing a lot on ladder just to practice my control and just overall the function of 2 hatch muta and controlling mutas while doing things back at home. And here we're even faster. We're an incredibly fast layer. And so BCM getting in there, he's gonna see, oh my goodness, you are crazy out of control fast with that layer timing. He's actually building a factory on the high ground. Wow. All right. So building the wall at the front. He gets in there and sees what's going on for Soma. Holding 2 SCVs at the wall. You would expect there to be a CC behind this. He hasn't gotten the Overlord into position to see if there's a CC or not yet. And so he hasn't been able to spot that. And we're about to have a vulture heading out on the map. That is crazy. This is gonna completely catch Soma off guard, I think. Vulture's heading out. There's only 4 lings back at home. Speed is almost done, but 1 vulture versus 4 lings is an annihilation. They're gonna get completely destroyed. I don't think this play is gonna work out too well for Soma, man. He's gonna be in a lot of trouble in a second. There goes the SCV. Scouting SCV getting picked off, but this vulture in the natural is crazy. Oh boy. Not the greatest control from BCM. They're gonna try and make some space so they can fight this group of lings. There's more popping out at the natural. Sunken colony is gonna start. Go for the main base. Is he gonna go up this ramp? Okay, he does get up into the ramp, up the ramp. Should be able to kill a couple more lings. Not able to do it. Not able to make it happen. Vulture, second one heading into this natural. Sunken colony's halfway done, but he needs some more time. That's enough lings to hold off for now. But the Mutilus timing has been seriously diminished. Doesn't have the overlords that he needs. He's popping out 2 more. 5-minute mark is hit. Oh, the vulture actually went down. This drone's not going to be able to make its way out onto the map, get a 3rd base started. And so that's another win for BCM. BCM going into what appears to be Goliath play behind this. Needs to make quite a lot of turrets, though, to hold on. He's only going to have 2 Goliaths when the mutas start to make their way across the map. 3rd hatchery in the front. There's not many drones, as you can see in this natural. Very, very few drones. He starts flyer attacks, which is quite the decision. We're going up against Goliath play. And he gets flyer attacks. Starts some more drones, makes a few mutas. I don't think he's going to get much damage with these initial mutas, especially not with Charon boosters halfway complete. And turrets all over the place. This is only, you know, 3, 4 mutas. The 2 Goliaths can actually start to fight this. 3 now, and a 4th gonna come out here soon. 4 mutas, not good enough to kill many SCVs. You can't even one-shot. I don't think he's even gotten a single kill so far. And so, yeah, not even one, I don't think. This is not looking good for Soma, man. This is really rough. I don't know what it is about BCM and these high-level Zerg players. He seems to be doing a pretty good job. I would much rather take... If I had a choice between taking over the Terran or taking over the Zerg's position, I think I would prefer Terran, even though I'm not a Terran player. This is pretty straightforward in how you can win this game. Build 5 factories and just keep making Goliaths. He's trying to double expand behind this. And while these mutas are going to get in and kill some SCVs, this is still only 6 mutas. He can't even one-shot. You can't even one-shot. He's not keeping all the Goliaths producing, unfortunately. Just need to keep those units incrementing out. Here comes the Goliaths up to 12 o'clock. This base is going to be denied. Can come over here as well. There's only 1 sunken in the natural, but I still probably wouldn't want to try and fight that, especially with 5 more mutas about to pop out. If he just comes over here and denies this base, I think it's mission accomplished. Kill an overlord. That's a bonus objective. Oh gosh. I think he's overstaying his welcome and may end up losing every Goliath. Probably best to just go and check that base. Go check the base. Oh, he's not even gonna check it. Well, these Goliaths may make it back home, but he didn't kill the 3rd base. And so Soma will be able to mine from that. More Sunkens were thrown down. Just trying to be safe. I think canceling those would be great. Especially as the Goliaths are all headed all the way back home. He's not going to cancel them, unfortunately. Flying into the main now. Coming on top of a few of these Goliaths. 2 of them are going to go down, but a couple mutas fall as well. Now, this is an okay trade, but it's not the greatest. I wouldn't be super happy about trading out just a few Goliaths for this number of mutas and dealing so much damage on them as well. Big drone transfer heading over to the 3rd base. 40 workers to 35, going up to those 5 factories now. Seems a little bit slow from BCM, the way that he's making factories, and he's definitely not optimal in this build. He will be getting a comsat so that he can start to scan. Most players won't add that tech in. They just try to optimize how many Goliaths they can get out at the earliest possible time. Like turret gonna go down in this natural. Goliaths will be coming down to assist, but a few SCVs will end up going down, and in fact Soma now ahead in his overall worker count. Looks like he's just gonna grab 2 more two more gases, and I think we're just gonna see only mutas be made. Just pure mutalisk play from Soma to take this out. I like it. I like the decision, especially after seeing 5 factory. Like there's really no better choice, I think, from this situation. Going into Hydras is going to be difficult. It takes a long time to get those upgrades out. If you just keep making mutalisk upgrades and you get 4 gases online, you can overwhelm these Goliath numbers easily. And so he's going to keep pumping out mutas, non-stop mutas from here. Try to get this 4th gas going. And as soon as he's got that income rolling, again, non-stop mutalisk production, eventually he'll actually be ahead in upgrades, because there's not going to be the option to start +2. There's no way to start +2 armor or attack for these Goliaths, so they're just going to kind of flounder with +1/+1. Whereas Soma can continue to upgrade. He can get into +2 attack, I guess. I thought he was going to go +2 armor, but he goes for +2 attack. And once +2 attack is done, he'll be an upgrade ahead. And then he can go for +2 armor. And then he'll be 2 upgrades ahead. And by that time, if the game's not over, Soma will definitely overwhelm and just destroy whatever army of Goliaths that BCM's been able to put together. This was looking great for Terran, but I think he's kind of thrown this game away. I think he's made too many mistakes at this point. And his Goliath army is going to make its way over towards the 3rd base. Meanwhile, Soma's just going to go for the dive into the main. A lot of Goliaths are here, but not the big chunk that's necessary to be able to stop this. He can dive on top of these Goliaths that are coming back and kill them off while sniping down a ton of SCVs at the same time. Looks like splitting up the Goliaths is going to be the choice for BCM. Half the army's going to go home. Half the army's going to stay to kill this third. However, the fourth is going to be reset up on that high ground. And the main base of BCM is in complete shambles. He's losing so many SCVs. He's down to just 29. He may end up losing the command center as well. A couple of scans go down. BCM utilizing that energy before the CC falls. 8 overlords, 9 overlords on the way there for a moment. And the mutas will be pushed back, but this is a winning spot for Soma, no doubt. The Goliaths are going to have to be pooled all together instead of split apart. And look at this. He's going to catch these Goliaths on their way back home. The Goliaths should have slinked off to the south and just tried to escape, but instead they walked through the middle. And so most of them, the majority, are going to go down before they can group up with their brothers. It looks like these Goliaths may end up winning the fight in the end. But imagine if they were all grouped together from the start. How much easier that would have been. He's heading across the map up towards 12. There's only 1 sunken colony in this high ground. If Soma had like 4 sunken colonies up here, this is an easy hold. But as it stands, maybe BCM can break up this ramp. There's not that many mutas up here. The 1 sunken colony being incredibly annoying. It's going to deal so much damage. As he tries to get up that ramp, he actually has to turn and chase back these mutas. He will not be able to break this base, surprisingly. And BCM is going to restart a command center in the main. No, BCM, you're not going to win the game by restarting this command center, my friend. That is not how StarCraft works. Zerg is way too far ahead of you at this point. We've got an 11 worker lead, 30 supply advantage. Another gas base going to be taken in top left hand corner. In fact, all the bases on this map are gas bases, so I guess that's a little bit redundant in this case. He's going to go ahead and take that base nonetheless, diving in with a lot of mutas. But this is a pretty good supply of Goliaths. I think the Goliaths should win this fight in the end, but it's going to be close, and that's fine for Soma. He's mining more. His production is better, and trading out army, even at a deficit, is absolutely fine at this point in the game. He just killed all the Goliaths, aside from these 5. And we're not going to see another big army for BCM, I don't think. He is just going to keep getting punished like that. He's just going to keep getting attacked. Similar to just what we saw over and over again until he's forced to leave this game. Some vultures heading out on the map. They do have ion thrusters about to finish researching, and that can be a way to slowly bring yourself back into a game, but I don't think from this much of a deficit. 20 worker deficit. Even if you're on even workers with the Zerg player, I would say the Zerg will have an advantage in that case. Just because the drones are spread over more mineral patches, they're going to be mining a bit more efficiently. You can see super saturation, especially here in the natural. You're just not getting as much out of each of your workers. So vultures heading up to the top left-hand corner. Maybe he can kill every drone, but I doubt it. You're gonna get 2. Not even getting a third in this base, which is quite rough to say the least. Painful experience this game for BCM. He's really getting his comeuppance for all the dirty play that he's shown. Soma having a mass of muta now. Ah, here we go. Irradiate. He's finally decided to get that science facility out. And now with science facility and a vessel, there's some semblance of hope. It's not great, but there's like a little tiny bit, a tiny percentage of a chance that maybe things go desperately wrong for Soma and an irradiate does an absolutely unspeakable amount of damage. He sees the starport. He knows that this must be the play from BCM, but he's just gonna fly in there anyway. Gonna fly in there anyway, do a whole bunch of damage. We've got enough for irradiate, but he's not pulling the trigger on it. He's instead sending vultures up in the top left once again. 2 sunken colonies are there though, and so that's not really gonna do too much. 64 workers still. All of these turrets go down, and Soma will evacuate the position with 29 workers remaining. There's really only one chance left for BCM. He has to go. He's got to go across the map. Another base down here, another base over here. Soma is expanding like a madman. He's growing like crazy. I take it back. There's no chance for BCM. Let's go ahead and speed up this game a little bit more. We're on fastest times 2. We'll wait for this final engagement for his last hoorah. If he even decides to go out on the map. There's one irradiate. That's a painful irradiate. Ooh, ooh. Ooh, yeah, you don't like that. That doesn't feel good. +2/+2 is done on these mutas. Got +2 attack now for the Goliaths as well. That's about the best he's gonna get. That's probably the best engagement you're gonna get for BCM at this point. Ooh, another great irradiate. Oh, you can just see how painful irradiates are when you're trying to control this many mutas. The damage is insane, but I mean, he could win with sunken colonies alone at this point in the game. If he just only builds sunken colonies, I still give the lead to Soma. Yeah, he turns away from this attack. He's not even bringing the science vessels with him because they don't have enough energy for irradiate any longer. Making the right choices here. Just building more sunken colonies than BCM can ever deal with. Siege tanks being made in siege mode. Oh, BCM. You little cutie pie, you. What are you gonna do against Soma? 74 workers. He's building non-stop mutas. He comes into the natural, forces BCM back. There's only 20 workers on the map for BCM now. He's still continuing to make mech army and threatening to attack, but attack where? And while you're attacking, don't you just lose everything back at home? And the answer is yes. Everything back at home is gonna die. We'll slow down once again to fastest for this final engagement. Main base is getting utterly routed. All the buildings are gonna go down long before this one sunken colony can kill these, or this one siege tank can kill all these sunken colonies. Look at all the sunkens being built on the high ground there. Oh man. There we go, a second. Oh gosh, wow. GG. I was just watching the difference between Goliaths shooting down a Scourge that are trying to connect with your science vessel and Marines shooting down a Scourge that are trying to connect with your science vessel, and the difference is astounding. 2 vessels go down over top of the Goliaths, and this sunken wall will not be busted. The entirety of the main is gone. BCM taps out. He receives his comeuppance in spades from Soma this game. Soma, utterly dominant in this entire series. You'll love to see it. I'm so excited for him to return to ASL in the upcoming season. Let me know if you agree in the comments, guys. Leave a like on the video as well if you enjoyed these longer series. That's it for today. I'll see you tomorrow.